me show you one of the problems that resulted from these inner axle sleeves, this reinforcement. And I knew this was going to happen. I'm going to show you how I'm trying to deal with it. So the inner axle sleeves obviously make the inner diameter of the axle housing narrower, right? So that when you're trying to pound out your axle seals, you can't really get on the lip of the axle seal because the inner tube is narrower, and you can see the reinforcement right there, okay? And the axle seal goes up close to it. Now, of course, I want to get as much of the axle sleeve inside this part right here, not just in the tube right here, but between this and this, because this is where there's a weak point, right? And so you want to get it past there for reinforcement. And so you can put it in too far so you can't pound your axle seals in, obviously. And that's why you want to pay attention to the directions when they say just put it in, at least for this kit, 1/8 in. And so, I didn't have a problem with the seal hitting the axle sleeve, especially on this side. I had a little bit of a gap on the driver's side. Of course, this is the short side. So when you stick your rod through from the other side, right, and you go to pound out the seal, you can get a pretty good angle on it so you can get the edge of the rod to bite the seal, even if it's real close to it. The problem with this side is it's so much longer that you can't get much of a bend on, on your rod that you're using to pound out the axle seal. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to try. Hopefully it'll help. But this one is actually touching, or it's not quite touching, but there might be like a 1/16 of an inch there between the seal and the metal of the axle sleeve. So I've been pounding and pounding on it. Let me get a light on here so you can kind of see, and I've just torn the heck out of the axle seal. It's a mess, but I can't really catch it with the regular straight rod. So let me show you what I did. Okay, hopefully this will come out here. So you can see I put a bend in it. It's not a big bend, but also I ground it so that I have kind of a sharp edge here. And I'm going to mark this edge right here, this side where the bevel is, down here, so that I know which way I'm pointing this inside. And hopefully this will get a little bit better bite on the axle seal. I've tried and tried with these pry bars and screwdrivers to get it to pop out from this side, and it's not working. So hopefully this will solve it for me. All right, guys, let me show you something to pay especially close attention to. Now, let me show you what happened here on my Jeep, and then I'm going to talk about what happened on my Dodge Ram pickup. So you can see, we just reinforced this, sleeved it, put in new seals, and I was all happy with everything. And then after a couple thousand miles, it's starting to leak here. So I think what happened, I put silicone on the outside of the seal when I installed it. I don't think I lubed the inside of the seal, though. And that's something that I should have done. The other problem with this side, this passenger side, was I had a lot of difficulty getting the end of the axle into the differential. And so I was moving it in and out a lot, and I think I probably damaged the seal. It didn't leak for a couple thousand miles, but now it's leaking. And I just saw a little spot over here, just started leaking all at once in my garage where I park it, and all of a sudden there was a spot there, and there was a bunch of leakage here. You can see where it's all wet right here. And so I checked my level, I put my finger in, I could get my whole pinky in, not my whole pinky, but the whole end of my finger before I barely touched the top of the oil level. And that was low, and that's bad. So these Dana axles, any axle for that matter, but especially these Dana axles, you want to keep a close eye on this and just look under your vehicle often and look for leaks. And if you see a leak like this, you need to make sure this is an adequate level. Okay, you got to keep this at the correct level. And the reason why is this is not a low pinion. If you look at this, a regular differential has the pinion down here. And so the fluid bath that's like at this level, that gear for that pinion is always in that fluid, okay? Now, this one is not, this high pinion, and hopefully if it's turning, it's, slinging oil up there and getting it covered. but it is not sitting in oil by any means, this high pinion right here. Okay, so this can add to the problem. Now this is exactly what happened to my Dodge Ram pickup, where I had a rear pinion seal leak, and it wasn't like a drip. It never even dripped or anything. It was just kind of always a little bit wet, and I'd wash it and it would kind of get a little damp, and I was like, crap, I don't want to. So I just kind of checked the level. Well, the level got low enough at one point that it burned up that back bearing. Okay, so just all I'm saying is keep an eye on your leaks, on the where your axle can leak. If you start to see a leak or a seep, definitely keep an eye on the level and just get it fixed. And that's what I'm doing here. So this seal was leaking. This seal, I don't think it was leaking because the axle tube is clean, but I'm replacing it anyway. So I'm gonna seal the outside of the seal. I'm gonna put great stuff. I mean, not great stuff, but definitely not great stuff. The right stuff, sealant on the outside of the seal, place it in, and then put some silicone paste on the inside. Then I have to be super careful when I pass my axle shafts through, and to not jack them up. And so hopefully this repair will last me longer. Okay, lesson learned. Hopefully you learned from this and won't make the same mistakes I did. All right, thanks.